What's a tip that everyone should know which might one day save their life? If you are being choked, make a touchdown signal. Raise your arms straight up, then twist around, using your arms to break the choke. If they are very strong, use the prayer method. Put your hands together in front of your chest like you are praying. Shoot your arms between the choker's arms and then spin. If the tide begins to recede and you can see a lot more of the ocean, run away immediately. You're more likely to be attacked in a transitional space, going into and out of buildings, cars, and especially between the two. You let your guard down because you're thinking about what you're going to do when you get there, not what you're doing right now and not what's going on around you. Stay alert. Stay safe. If you need to break open a car window using a tool, do not hit the middle. Hit one of the corners. The middle of a window is reinforced to prevent it from being broken. Shortness of breath can indicate heart problems. My father told our family doctor about it and they sent him for tests. They found problems and did open heart surgery. It saved his life, and I want more people to know about this seemingly unrelated symptom. If you have been on the fence for a while about being too cold to continue in a backcountry situation, you are already too cold. Immediately make emergency efforts to get warm. Being hypothermic severely clouds your judgment. You convinced me. I'm turning the thermostat up to 74. If you're in a crowd and there's a possibility of a human crush, go with the waves of people instead of against it, and, when possible, go backwards and diagonally to get out of it. If you're rigid, you'll get pushed over and trampled to death, and you absolutely don't want to get to the front. Never pee on a jellyfish sting. Douse it with vinegar instead. If you're hiking, doing anything else outdoors alone, tell someone where you're going and when you should be back. If you become incapacitated, this will increase survival chances by a lot. As a lifelong Floridian, I see this all the time here and elsewhere in the news. In the event of a disaster, stay the frick away from down power lines. Don't walk along the street with them. Don't drive your car over them. Don't take selfies with them. They're thunder noodles and have been known to kill. Put toilet paper in your cars. I once saw a man taking a roadside emergency dump while holding onto a tire to keep from falling back into the demon he was releasing. I immediately checked for toilet paper and it has not left my vehicle since. If you have a skin mole that has blurry edges, isn't symmetrical, is a weird shade of red, weeps fluids, or acts like an open wound that won't heal, you might have skin cancer. Go to a doctor immediately. Melanoma kills fast. If you have benign skin moles, keep an eye on them. Get an idea of how they should normally look so you'll notice if any begin to change like I mentioned above. Don't forget to put on sunscreen. The ABCDE method of identifying possibly cancerous moles: asymmetrical, borders, irregular, color, uneven, more than 1, diameter, 6 mm, evolution of its change over time. Never use brake cleaner before welding. If you get stabbed, do not pull it out. Since it's Christmas, water your tree, or don't get a real one. On an airplane, if the oxygen masks drop, put yours on first, then put it on the kids. It's fine for them to get lightheaded, but if you do, then you both die. When pumping fuel, if there is a fire, do not pull the nozzle out. Just stop the flow if possible and back away, and hit the fire suppression system. If you hydroplane, do not make any sudden inputs, just keep her straight and slowly lift off the throttle. Do not downshift to slow down on icy roads. If a dog is going to attack you, do not run. Make yourself look as big as you can and yell and snarl like a maniac. Failing that, kick that dog. You are smart. You have 2 arms, 2 legs and a mouth. A dog only has a mouth. You can defend yourself. Believe in yourself. Above all, my biggest pieces of advice is do not panic. Keep your wits about you. You are so much stronger than you think. Just don't panic. Easier said than done, I know, but it's true. If you should be foolish enough to crash your car into water, find a sharp object. Attempting to open the door is fruitless until the pressure equalizes. Break the window glass and swim out that way. The metal part of a removed headrest can be used to break windows in this situation. Do not jump in the water to save a drowning person unless absolutely necessary, that is, a child, etc. Drowning people tend to clasp on their rescuers and drag them under with them. Find something to throw or some sort of lifeline. If a drowning person does grab on, they will essentially try to climb you like a ladder or push you under to get the leverage to get some air. It's instinctive at that point and impossible to override. If you're being pushed under, just swim down out of their grasp, come up a little ways away, and try to reapproach. Prop someone on their side when they're drunk and passed out. If they're laying on their back and start vomiting, they could asphyxiate themselves. Their left side. It's called the recovery position. Or fill a backpack with blankets, clothes etc. and slip the person's arms in. They can't roll over with a stuffed backpack. If you're in the passenger seat of a car, never put your feet on the dashboard. In the event that you're in a car accident, knee bones into your skull won't end well. And if it doesn't damage your face, it will damage your hips. Get a CO gas detector in your house. One near the furnace and one near your bedroom. Cannot smell or see CO leaks from regular household furnaces. They are pretty inexpensive too. If you are ever being attacked or kidnapped by someone with a nose ring, earring, or any sort of visible piercing, tear it out. It hurts, especially the nose ring. Had a co-worker arguing with me about this the other day. Well, if someone ripped out my piercings, then I'd get peed and the fight would be on. Motherfucker, if I am ripping out piercings, this is a serious situation. It's very inadvisable to carry condoms in your back wallet. The irregular cycles of heat it will experience due to being in and out of your pocket can cause the latex to expand, contract multiple times before actual use, severely compromising the reliability. If you feel you're going to collapse, clench your buttocks together. You also can't cry while squeezing your butt cheeks together. Useful when you need to keep your crap together, and a fun fact to lighten a situation when someone else is about to lose it. If you aren't trained and equipped for an in-water rescue, don't attempt an in-water rescue of someone who is drowning. What you should do, try to reach them with something like a long pole. This works best if the victim is close, like in a pool. Lie down so the victim can't easily pull you in. Try to throw the victim something that floats. Life ring, life jacket, wetsuit, pool toys, those crappy styrofoam ice chests people sometimes take to the beach. It's handy if whatever you throw has a rope attached so you can pull the person in, but it's more important to get the person something floating to stop the drowning. Then you can solve the problem of getting a non-drowning, and hopefully not panicking, victim out of the water. Try to get to the victim in a small craft like a jet ski or rowboat. This one is very situational and often not available, but always should be on the list. If you ever feel intense pressure in your chest that radiates up into your jaw, you are probably having a heart attack. Source: had heart attack last month. I get this feeling every time I eat 188 sushis at the all-you-can-eat sushi buffet. If you ever get kidnapped and are in the kidnapper's vehicle, wait until you are around a lot of traffic and pull the steering wheel to make the car crash. People will immediately go to see if you are okay and call emergency vehicles. You're going to be injured or killed whether you cause an accident or go to the second location anyways. Might as well pull attention to yourself. Okay, so when you get kidnapped, the place where the guy grabs ya, in the biz we call that the primary location. Okay, your odds of coming back alive from the primary location, about 60%. But if you are taken to a secondary location, your odds of coming back alive are slim to none. Pain on your right side, push down slightly on it and cough. If pain intensifies, it's most likely your appendix and you should get it checked out. Wife had 2 surgeries on it this year. If you drop a loaded gun, do not try to catch it. Let it fall. Modern firearms do not just go off for like no reason. Trying to catch it makes it easier to accidentally pull the trigger. Before people go off about antique guns and blah blah yada yada, unless you are at the range, your antique needs to be in its case or you are an irresponsible gun owner. Modern firearms do not just fire off like that, even high points. Also a knife. A drop knife has no handle. Have a glass breaker seatbelt cutter in your car. A lot of knives come with both on them and can be as cheap as $15 to $20. Better to have something you don't need than to need something you don't have. We had a sheriff come in to talk to us about active shooter situations. Going through that training taught me a ton, but the one piece of advice I got that stuck with me was, have a plan, and every day go through the plan in your head. This will help you to not panic if it actually happens. Never try to engage, but if God forbid, you must defend yourself, then you swarm. Be savage and do not let up. Their due process was done when they decided to bring a gun into your building. Can't state enough how much they advise to never engage but have a plan for everything. My workplace did training on active shooter situations, and the way it was expressed was run, hide, fight. If you can run, foe. If you can't run, then hide. If you can't hide, then fight. Know how to swim. You don't need to be Michael Phelps, but it's great to be able to swim decently and tread water. Also, if you're ever kidnapped, try to leave personal items along the way, like drop a ring or earring in the car or something. It can be helpful to find you and as evidence in trial. If you're stabbed or impaled and the offending object is still in your body, do not pull it out. Doing so can make you bleed out. If a police officer tries to pull you over in a dark, isolated area, don't stop until you reach a public place. People pretending to be police to rob or kidnap people is a real thing. If you get bit by something with venom, don't try to suck it out. I knew all those dudes on the side of the road in our DR2 were full of crap. At all costs, don't let an attacker drag you into a vehicle. You never want to go to a second location. Also, if you do get put into a car, I read to urinate, spit, pull hair out to get your DNA in the car. When going to a rural or not as wealthy country, never drink raw water. Always drink water or drinks that are bottled or canned. This can't really save your life, but it will protect from diseases and stomach poisoning. Don't pour water on a grease fire. Gesture towards your throat with your open hand if you are choking in a restaurant. Vomiting can make a potential rapist leave you alone. If nothing else works, put your finger down your throat, kids. This also works if someone is trying to kidnap you or get you into their car. My brother went to New Orleans with his buddy and their girlfriends. While walking around, they get stopped by the huge black guy in a crisp white suit, and he says this: "I'm gonna give you all kids some rules to follow while you're here. 1. Never leave your drinks unattended. Everyone will try to put crap in there, even the bartenders. 2. You boys don't ever let your girls walk alone on these streets, even with a weapon. They might get taken. 3. If you're walking down a neighborhood and you don't see any children wandering around, leave immediately. If it's not safe enough for the kids, it ain't safe for you. 4. If you'll wanna buy some crack, I got some. Chaotic good. If you believe someone is in your home, whatever you do, don't turn on the lights. As much as you'd feel more comforted if the lights were on, you know your house better than anyone. You would have an easier time moving around your house, while the intruder would be a lot slower. Chew carefully and well if you're eating steak alone. Additionally, learn to perform the Heimlich on yourself using a chair. Always trust your gut. Fear is something we need to listen to. Also, do not be so polite that you end up in a sketchy situation. Be appropriately rude. Some insight before a crisis may be found in the gift of fear. Don't pick up items on Craigslist or Kijiji alone. You never know when the item you head out to pick is actually just a lure. Been in uncomfortable situations and have always made sure to never go alone anymore. My life isn't worth a boxed set of DVDs. If you don't have someone to bring, you can always meet at a public place like the library instead of going to their house. If you're lost in the woods, don't leave your location. People searching for you will start at your last known location heading, and you'll just make their job harder by expanding the search area. If you must leave, follow water. Early cities, towns were usually founded near a source of water. If you follow a stream, you're more likely to run into civilization, usually downstream, but really depends where you are. Added bonus of following the water is that the searchers might put 2 and 2 together and follow it after you, and you have water, maybe. If someone grabs you by the throat from behind, don't try to pull away. Lean backwards into the attacker instead to throw them off balance, and jab them in the stomach wherever you can with your elbow as you do it. Moss can grow on any side of a tree, not just north. Do not use this for navigational purposes if you become lost in the forest. A compass is a much more precise instrument of navigation, and should be your constant companion if you decide to go hiking, camping. If you are stuck in your car during a dire emergency, take the headrest off your seat, if applicable, and use it to smash the window. Smashing the window with a headrest is actually really hard. It's better to stick it between the glass and the door frame, pushing it until the glass breaks, or to use it as a lever to break the glass. You've been visited by the good policy grandpa. You will be blessed with good economics and healthcare, but only if you comment sleep well burner. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.